Okay, so this is my Kangen Water testimonial. This is my personal testimony, as well as I want to speak on behalf of my father on this video about what the water did for us in our life, for our health, number one. Before I share anything, this is not a video to claim anything, to say that anything cures, to heal, to reverse, none of that. This is just what I want to share that allowed the water to put myself kind of back in a state of balance where I could do the healing naturally. Not the water healing me healing myself, but doing so because of being hydrated and more clean as a human body. So before I get into my father's story, quick a little bit about me. I grew up playing basketball my whole life. That was my thing. That was my MO. From the moment I was born, almost 1 year old till up until 25 years old, playing basketball. So I was putting my body through a lot. I was consuming a lot of beverages that I know now aren't the best for me. I was consuming a lot of food that I just assumed would burn off because I'm always exercising, so I wasn't paying attention to nutrition. There was a lot of things that I just wasn't taking care of myself correctly. I wasn't treating my body the way it should have. And so throughout high school, I experienced a lot of injuries. I mean, little nicks and things, and a lot of inflammation. I was always sore, had a lot of skin breakouts, a lot of allergies. I was always getting sick, things that you would think are common. And then I went to college and I would develop more hay fevers. I was, still getting sick. Again, worse inflammation. A lot of muscle soreness was the real big thing. And I always found myself kind of in the training room, getting some kind of treatment, whether it's taking ibuprofen or an ice bath, something always to maintenance of my body. And little did I know what was actually happening inside of me. We always focus on external things because that's what we can see. We can see our skin, we can see our muscles. We can only see, I call it the first layer, but at the 10th layer, the cellular layer, it's hard to see in there. It's hard to realize what's going on deep in our tissues, in our organs, in our blood, in our cells. And so slowly over time, I was developing, acid reflux, trouble sleeping, really bad allergies. That was one of the biggest things. I was very close with Tylenol, ibuprofen, Allegra, Zantac, Pepto-Bismol, Tums, even stronger anti-inflammatories. Those were my Band-Aids, I like to call them. And over time, my body just wasn't getting any better, but I just kept playing basketball. And I just thought, it's just part of being an athlete, it comes with it. And then fast forward, I graduated in 2013, and then I took a year off from playing, and then I went to Mexico. And before I went to Mexico, my friend at the time, Jilly, who is now my partner, and she brought this water to me, this living water, this alkaline water at the time. And I was like, what the heck is that? And I was alkaline water. I don't know what that is. I got my Brita filter. I'm good. I have Gatorade in the fridge. That helps me. I don't know. And again, this is at the time I had no idea anything about water, how it was different, how it could have, a pH level. It could have healing benefits, healing properties, antioxidants, all these things. I had no idea. And so for 8 months, I had a wall up in my ego, and I was stubborn, and I didn't want to drink any. I didn't want any of it, not even a sip. I was that stubborn because again, I had my Brita filter, and I thought that's all I needed. And it was me being sick and tired and achy and in pain was just, again, being an athlete. So I went to Mexico to play professional, and I was there for 9 months. And towards the last month, I started developing really bad stomach pain. I thought it was just indigestion, constipation, I just a little backed up, ate too many street tacos, had a couple Coronas, whatever, until one morning I couldn't get out of bed. I was laying in bed as if there was knives stabbing into my tummy, and I had to call the team doctor, and they got me to the doctor's office, and they ran some tests, and they probably figured out that basically it diagnosed me with ulcerative colitis, and that's an inflammation of the colon, and there's ulcers, and ulcers are very, very intense, sharp pain, almost like burning a hole through a wall. You're burning holes through your gut lining, and it was killing me. I couldn't get out of bed. I was locked up in bed for a couple of days on antibiotics, and just in pain and misery. I couldn't get anything down, lost a lot of weight, and I started developing eczema on my skin. I was starting to really get bad acid reflux before and after. I had, again, trouble sleeping, anxiety all the time. My knees were really inflamed just from playing. I wasn't hydrating properly. I just wasn't doing all the things I should have. And so fast forward, I then come home and I reach out to Jilly at the time and I said, okay, will this water help with stomach stuff? And she said, I don't know, everyone's different, but we'll see. Come over and fill up some gallons. And I said, okay, I'm coming. And that right there was the best decision of my life, because what happened next, I started drinking the water. And I didn't look at any research, any demonstration. I didn't ask any questions. I've known Jilly since I was in college, and I finally just I've always trusted her, but it was my ego finally, okay, got it. And I decided to start drinking it. And in about a couple gallons, I already started noticing things. I noticed my energy was starting to improve, which was incredible, because when you have stomach issues, everything goes in the gut, right? Our immune system, our energy, our life force, all that starts from the tummy, what we eat, what we drink. It all gets absorbed there and then kind of multiplies out. So I started feeling better, not completely everything better, but I started feeling more energized. The next thing I noticed was I began sleeping better. I remember the third night, I believe, I slept 13 hours. I literally slept through 3 alarms, and I slept on one side and my face was stuck on a pillow, and I got up and my whole face, because I was slept so hard, I realized, holy crap, I slept 13 hours. I didn't even realize it. And that was incredible. I'd never slept that good and that long in my entire life, being an athlete or just a person. So that was interesting. And then I began to detox bowel movements. To save you anything graphic, I just was pooping out stuff that, most people don't want to see come out of them. Different shapes, colors, and sizes and whatnot, but don't save too many of those details. And what I noticed was after just a couple of weeks, I was able to get food down easily, and I was having regular bowel movements, and I was sleeping better. My eczema started clearing, and I was spraying this acidic water that she gave me, and beauty water, and I was kind of using all the different waters. I was like, okay, what the heck, what is this water? What is it doing? And then she showed me a demonstration, and gosh, it made so much sense. It made complete sense, and I'm just kind of kicking myself, because 8 months prior, I was saying, no, don't give me your magic alkaline water, whatever it is, I'm good. And I had to learn the hard way. And I think that's a lot of times people do go through that and experience things the hard way, because sometimes they're resistant to different modalities of, healing or medicine or whatever you want to call it. But to me, this is just water. It's not complicated. It's water, but with certain properties that allows your body to hydrate, to detox, to cleanse, and to get back into balance. And so when you do that, your body is able to heal itself. Again, the water doesn't heal you, the body heals you. And so after about 5 or 6 weeks, I remember, and I woke up one day and, I thought about, taking some Tums after I ordered some food, because of the acid reflux still. But I realized, wait a minute, I haven't had acid reflux in about a few days, let alone almost a week. And my stomach doesn't hurt anymore, and my skin's clear, and my knees don't hurt, and I'm energized, and I'm sleeping 8 hours, 10 hours a night. And all those things that I was dealing with just maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, extreme, when I got back from Mexico, were gone. And that was it. And at 25 years old, I made the choice to invest in a machine. And this was all before I even saw a demonstration. The water did it all. What it does, it sells itself. And I don't like to say sell, because water does what it's supposed to do. And that's what I learned about the properties, did more research, and it became a no-brainer for me to invest in a machine. And at that point, I was just more involved of being a personal trainer and helping people. And I use this water as a good tool to help people. And so that's kind of my story in a nutshell. Being an athlete, having issues, not trying the water, not listening or being open-minded to it. I learned the hard way, which I know a lot of people do. And then drinking it, feeling it, detoxing, cleansing. And ever since, I really don't think I've had many, if not any other drinks but Kangen water. Just because when you drink it, you feel it, but when you see it and you understand it, and you look at the research and the testimonials and the knowledge and the science, and you put it all together, you almost can't drink anything else, I guess. So that's kind of where I was at. And now, that was back in 2000, I believe 15, 2015, and now it's 2019, but with my father. So my father's 64 years old now. Those of you who may know him watching this, he's been a basketball coach, my coach for a long part of my life, a health teacher, keeps in shape, doesn't eat too bad of food, is lean. You look at him and think he's he's a healthy guy. He looks good. But again, I look like a healthy guy too, and I was 25, but at the deep layer, we don't know what's going on in our cells, and that's where it's all about. We don't know what's happening at that cellular level because, doctors don't talk about it much. Medicine doesn't say it much. You don't see it on TV commercials. It's just more of, here's, a pill that can help you. Here's a procedure. Here's a surgery. Here's a Band-Aid. Here's a therapy that you can use. But it's all about getting back to that 10th layer, I call it, not the first layer that we see, the 10th layer, the cellular layer. So my father was diagnosed on April 10th, I believe, with acute myeloid leukemia. And I was actually in this room. I'm video recording this. I was in this room when I got the call from my mom saying, your father has cancer. And that was one of the harder things to hear because, my whole life, it will never happen to our family. It never happened to me, my dad, my mom. We're healthy, we're fit, we're active. We don't have a bad lifestyle. We, nothing really bad going on. We take good care of our bodies. So chances are good that we won't experience that. Maybe some other bumps here and there, but nothing as intense as cancer. And so my heart dropped and I had to gather myself, get all my emotions back together. And I remembered that, wait a minute, this water can help him. And he was like me. He was resistant to really committing to drinking it and to getting a machine and to making it a part of his lifestyle, just like I did. And that's the hard part is, I learned that way. Now, he's having to learn this way. Cancer though, not just ulcerative colitis, not that comparing the two, but cancer is very intense, obviously, as many of you know. And so he was diagnosed April 10th. At the time, he wasn't into the natural healing, holistic healing that I was learning about and was all for. And I couldn't make the choices for him. That was his choice to go through treatment through the hospital, through UCLA Medical, and that was doing multiple rounds of chemotherapy and eventually a stem cell transplant, which he did. He did all those things, but the difference is when you understand what goes on in those procedures, which really I studied a lot in that time, in that short amount of time being with him in the hospital. The biggest thing is the body's becoming too acidic. There's so many other variables, but the biggest thing is acid overload, and chemotherapy is very acidic. It's highly acidic that it just basically nukes your whole body, and it kills cancer cells, which is good, but also kills human cells, your cells, the good cells. It doesn't know the difference. It kills everything. It's a nuclear bomb that goes off. So with my dad's disease, he had acute myeloid leukemia. This is called AML. Acute means rapid onset, so it's very aggressive, very rapid. If you don't do anything, his white blood cell count got so low that he was, getting a cold or a flu bug away from possibly not even making it through that because he had no defense. Because I guess they said for months and months and months, he had this cancer, he just didn't know. The only thing he was dealing with was a little bit of fatigue, but he works 10 hours a day and he's coaching full time and he's helping take care of my grandpa at home. So we just thought he's a little tired. Nothing else than that. No other symptoms until they told us that. And that's when